So we're going on a road trip. Night before, we're getting all gassed up, getting the car ready. We're leaving early. First thing, we have to pack clothes, socks, boots, bag, shower bag, gun, backup gun. I might need a razor. I wonder if I need to bring my shotgun. We got gas, tires, spare tire, small tire, oil, jack handle, and there's a four-way in there somewhere. Okay. Here's that roll of electrical tape I've been looking for. I got my bag. Got my spare hat. Got my coats. Got books. Got my coffee cup. I wasn't going to leave till tomorrow morning, but screw it. I'm bored. Let's roll out. So I've been having a little issue with my dash cam I haven't got resolved yet. For some reason, it's not wanting to work right. So I'm running it because it does work. So in case there is something that happens, I'll have a record of it. But I'll be doing a lot of stuff on my cell phone, which I really don't like to be doing. I have it in a permanent mount. So we'll be doing that, and then we'll be heading out of town. So let's get. So I'm involved with the Veterans Organization, and that's why we're going on this road trip. We're going down to Battleground, Alabama, and there's going to be a concert. There's going to be a lot of neat stuff going on. I think Black Oak, Arkansas is going to be there. We just got some cool stuff getting ready to happen. Door prizes. I'm one of the contributors. I'm donating a couple of firearms, and if you win, you have to get them from an FFL, so everything is legit. But it's a good time to get together, support your local, support the troops, support the guys coming home especially. So it's going to be a fun drive, and I've been just kind of itching to go, so I'm leaving a little early. I'm going to make it a trip down there. We're going to see some cool stuff, I hope, and we'll finish up this when we get to Alabama, so I can't wait. So let's get on out there and get to the turnpike and start putting this thing in the wind, because this is going to be good. My first coffee stop is in Tonkawa, Oklahoma. We'll check out the car, but mainly we're just going to get coffee. Stop at the Loves. The nice thing about being a truck driver is, well, I got a loyalty card and I can get free coffee. And if I feel like it, and I sleep in my car, I can get a free shower too. "69 miles to Tulsa. Giggity." Apparently the speed limit's 80 out here, so we're laying down some tracks. So we're here at our first fuel stop. I've done 209 miles, so let's fill up and see what happens. and I got to check the oil. That's why that's filling up. We'll check the oil. Hasn't burned a drop, so that's good. So everything looks good so far, so we'll go in and use the facilities because I am my father's son, and we'll get south of Muskogee for tonight, see how far I go. So we're getting ready to go. I got my Monster, and I found an audiobook, Gunmetal Gray by Mark Greaney. I've read the book. It's the Gray Man series. I love it. So yeah, I brought a whole bunch of audiobooks with me. I brought one of my books that I was reading and a whole stack of audiobooks here. And yeah, so I bought another one. I don't know what I was thinking. I got 150 miles down the road and realized I forgot to bring my atlas. And we're off. Now let's get this show back on the road. We're driving through Muskogee right now. I have an old Army buddy who's a cop out here. Hopefully he's off tonight. Danny's a good guy, but I'd rather meet him on my terms rather than him pull up behind me and I meet him on his. We pull up to the toll plaza and my driver's side window won't go down. So it was working fine earlier today, but so we got to do the whole open the door and suffer bit. Nah, it's always the U-Haul. Bye. No, thank you. Thanks. So we're here in Roland, Oklahoma right now. There's a rest area. Why didn't I get a hotel room? Well, I'm cheap. So, get a few winks. See you in the morning when we cross the border. So we got about 4 hours of sleep. Not quite in Arkansas yet. Wanted to do that in the daylight. But time to get some coffee. I was kind of worried about the car idling. Mainly because, you know, being a truck driver, you don't like things to idle. And I was like, man, I just don't want to idle a thing like this because it was a little chilly. And then I remembered, oh yeah, this is a police car. This thing, all it ever did was idle. So let's go get some coffee and get back on the road. Quite a weird deal. There seems to be a lot of water building up inside the... It's not, it is just regular water, but it's like it's condensing. It's weird. Okay, so now that I've got my coffee, it's a bright new day. I did 280 miles roughly yesterday. I've got about a little over, almost 490 to do today, which is not much. It says it's less than 8 hours on the GPS, but we all know how accurate those are. I did a video about that. And so now that I got my coffee, we'll head off and get into Arkansas. Well, we just passed into Arkansas. They call it the natural state, but I'm fairly convinced it's only because they don't have enough money to develop it. So we're gonna get through here and we got to get into a bit of Tennessee, but before that we've got to get through here. So let's keep on going. One of the things I'm going to spend a few minutes on today is trying to figure out how to get this window to work. That's kind of irritating. It worked all the way through Kansas. The minute I got into Oklahoma on the Oklahoma Turnpike, it decided it did not want to anymore. So I'm going to spend a few minutes on that today. Not a whole lot of time, but... So we stopped here in Ozark. Let's see if we can get this window working real quick. Maybe we won't have to tear it apart. There's some power going. I can hear it clicking. So I think the window's stuck. have no idea, so I guess I'll just deal with it later. I actually think the window regulator or whatever might have stripped out. I've got those other doors at the house, so if it doesn't go down, I guess it doesn't go down, and we'll deal with this problem another day. But let's get back on the road. So we're gonna get ready to stop up here and do our third fuel stop. So let's find a place and get to it. These people around here are nuts. I'm doing almost 80 miles an hour and I'm getting lapped. Good night. When I go out and buy gasoline on the road, whether it's the car or for the truck, I generally have a rule. I always try to find more of a actual corporate-owned store. Now, it's not that I'm against supporting the small businesses, but when it comes to gasoline, I found that the larger stores that are more corporate-owned versus the ones that are independent tend to take care of their pumps. They tend to have better gasoline because they clean out their tanks more. It's just generally a better experience. It's not that I'm against buying stuff locally, but a lot of these stores, you go in there, they're just filthy, they're run down, they don't have a selection of anything, and it just hasn't been maintained. And you don't get that so much when you get a larger corporate-owned style store. So that's generally what I look for, because I get a better, you'll get a better deal on gasoline, and even if you don't, you'll still get better gasoline. So it's just something to think about. We prepaid 25 bucks. So guess we're done. While we're stopped, I'm cleaning the windows. But I'll tell you why I prepaid. I prepaid because I'm in an unfamiliar spot, and if you don't have a secured credit card or you're unsure about where you're at, use cash, prepay. Doesn't hurt anything. If you got to stop again, who cares? You got time. But it's all about protecting yourself, and the less you use your card out here, the better. So carry a little bit of cash and it'll be all right. And yes, I do windows. So we're getting about 200 miles per half a tank. I kind of got it figured out to where $20 to $25, what that'll get me in the when I go to fill up. So whoops. So let's get back on the interstate and get through Little Rock. Funny story, a couple years back I made this same trip in my pickup truck, and I did it almost in one shot, but I left the house early, made it down to Corinth, Mississippi. I was really tired, so I said, you know what, I'll just get me a hotel room. So the first hotel I stopped at, it looked nice. I think at one time it must have been a Best Western or a Marriott or something. But not anymore. I rolled in and got looking around and realized there was a strip club attached to it. And there was people running all over and losing their minds and whatnot. And I was like, no, we're not doing this. So I throw the pickup in reverse. I back out of there. I hit the highway again. Get to the other end of town, and there's a little restaurant, like the Patriot Inn or some kind of Americana name. And I'm like, you know what? This'll do. It's quiet. And I had a little pub next to it, and I was like, oh, that sounds nice. So I go in, I stop, pay for my hotel room. As soon as I go out there, I realized I got there too late. The bar's closed. So I was like, oh, that's no big deal. So I go over to get my key to go in my room, and the first thing a guy in the parking lot asked me is if I have any spray paint, because he's high. He's huffing paint out of a paper bag. And all I remember thinking, oh goody, I'm not getting my money back here. So I cleaned out my pickup truck, drug it in the hotel room with me, and went to bed. It was, fun was had by all. So I think next time I stop, I'm going to try to find a little larger chain than Spray Paint Man in the Parking Lot Hotel. Part of the problem that I always have, and I bet a lot of you truckers probably do too, is when you go on a road trip, you seem to forget you're in a car. You know, you start thinking about all the places you can stop and this, that, and the other thing, and then you suddenly remembered, oh yeah, I don't have to stop there, I'm in a car. But you do like to stop where things are familiar. I was actually thinking about stopping at the Petro in West Memphis, but then I realized I'm in Memphis. We're getting barbecue because that's what you do in Memphis. You get out here in eastern Arkansas, you kind of get into the flatlands. There's a lot of rice growing out here, a lot of cotton. It's real agricultural. I like it, it's flat. Of course, I like flat, but you know, it's not for everybody. You get on the west side of the state, it's got the mountains out there, the Watcha Mountains, and I think the Ozarks dip into it, and it's not bad down there either. So if you ever get down here, there's a lot to see in Arkansas, but I'm ready to get out of it and get to Memphis. Stop here at Ray's. It would figure the one barbecue joint I get to doesn't have indoor, it's drive-through, and my window doesn't go down. But let's hope it's good. That undoubtedly was the worst barbecue sandwich I've ever had. It was disgusting. I don't know how they got world famous, but they must be famous for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, it was too expensive for what you got, and it was actually really nasty. It was really nasty. I fear that nasty sandwich is going to come back like a poltergeist and visit me while I sleep. Oh, it's already not agreeing with me. Yeah. Well, that's my fault. Oh boy, Lamar Avenue. That's a great place to get shot, stabbed, or robbed, and if you're lucky, you'll get all three. There's about a 3-mile stretch down Old 78 that, if you're lucky, it makes Skid Row look like a warm and inviting place. It's not a nice place to be, and generally, if you don't have to be there, we won't be. As you go road tripping down some of these old U.S. highways, especially out down south, they've 4-laned a lot of them. There's a lot of stuff out here. There's a lot of truck stops. There's a lot of places to park. Once you get off the interstate, there's a lot of neat stuff. And if you know where to look with the right kind of eyes, you can actually see a lot of a time gone by. The way trucking used to be, but just the way life used to be. And there's a simplicity to this out here that I really like. And if you ever get a chance to get off the interstate and come down south and truck through Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Georgia, even into Florida, there's a lot to see that you'll never see on a travel brochure. So it's worth the trip if you can get off the interstate. Fuel stop number 4. So we're going to top this thing off, check the oil, and then that should be our last fuel stop before we hit the hotel for the event. Gas gauge is full. I got jerky. Let's go. We are in Corinth, Mississippi. This is where that story I was telling you about happened. This is the crap hole where it started. And there's where this particular disaster of a night ended. Corinth, Mississippi has some wonderful history. From civil rights to the Dixie Mafia. All sorts of interesting stuff. But nothing interesting but VD and infidelity happened at either of those two places I was at. So, let's get out of town. So I just drove through Muscle Shoals, and Leonard Skinner talked about that. And we're about 40 minutes from our final destination, so let's work on getting there, and then we'll wrap this up. Well, we made it. Had a good trip. Video's a little longer than I wanted it to be. You wouldn't believe how much I shortened it up. When you're recording things like this, you know, you can record hours worth of stuff and most of it's junk. But, you know, we crossed the state lines and I had a good time. I mean, it's always a good drive. It's a $500 car. And all said and done, I got altogether maybe $1,500 total plus the price of the car in it. Got me where it needed to go. But the important thing was I recognized the car had good bones when I bought it. So I'm not going to make this synopsis too very long. Car was great. Road trip was great. Video, I guess it's going to be up to interpretation. It's a little longer than I wanted it to be. I tried shortening it up the best I could. But I hope you found some nuggets in there. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to have to go walk off that. Sandwich. Oof. It's going to get me about 2 in the morning. I can feel it. So, anyways, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'm down here, and I was going to touch on this briefly. I'm down here for this veterans organization. It's called the Valkyrie Initiative. I really don't promote anything on my channel, but this is something that I've been involved in. It helps soldiers with PTSD, and, you know, when the VA fails them, they need organizations like ours to help them recover. And so, if you're not involved, these are our boys. So, our men and women who went over there voluntarily and came back, and they need our support. So, anyways, it's something I'm a little passionate about. I won't get too far. Maybe someday I'll do a video on it. But anyhow, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Road trip was fun. Y'all be safe. And, of course, this road trip's only half over for me. I got to get the car back home, but I probably won't film that. So, unless something happens, I'll have the camera rolling. So, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. You guys be safe, and hopefully you have good journeys yourself. This is what I bought the car for, and it's paying me off. It's doing what I wanted it to do, so I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Y'all be safe.